The most important part of all this that you've learned is basically the red pill is for you to act like the alpha male. If you do that, it will trigger the subconscious part of her that will be more sexually attracted to you. Might sound cringe, whatever, whatever, but it's absolutely the case. And so I'm going to teach you now a bunch of ways. I'm basically just going to fucking talk about like ways you can act like the alpha. Just quick, I'll go over a disclaimer, which is like, wait, is this authentic? Shouldn't I be authentic? I think you should certainly be authentic with, for example, your real interests and the woman that you like and everything. But you can certainly display like a better version of yourself in a situation. Like, for example, there's times when you're feeling really confident and you've naturally got good body language. Is that inauthentic? Not really. But sometimes you'll be next to a girl and you don't have that. Is it authentic to basically be next to a girl and like feel like a bitch and then stutter and look kind of, weak and shallow breathing and then she's not attracted to you? Wouldn't you rather just like make it so it's authentic when you are acting like this? Just like, for example, going to the gym, is that an authentic, like it's hard to say, like, is going to the gym authentic? Is building the muscle authentic? It kind of isn't at first because it's unnatural. You have to basically like pretend you're an athlete, just like you have to pretend you're the alpha. But soon you act like that, soon you become that. So this is a case where like that, oh, sorry, there was a phrase that was just coming to act and then pretend and there's such a popular phrase. What's that shit called again? Act and then you'll become it, whatever it is, right? There's a certain popular phrase that's just slipped my mind. But this is what it is. Basically, let's pretend to be alpha males on purpose with like actual changes that we're manually making inside of us. And then after a while, this will just start to feel natural. Like I'm telling you right now, most of this stuff I actually just kind of naturally do these days. So let's go through them. First and foremost, the alpha is supposed to be the guy with the good genes. That's how a woman really decides if she wants to sleep with you, if she wants to get wet with you, is because she sees that you have good genes. How does she see that? Well, of course, she can't see your genes. She can't see your DNA, but that she is subconsciously attracted to things that would reflect if you had good genes. And the single greatest thing that you can have, single greatest, is actually the V-taper. This shows a huge level of dominance and strength and masculinity and testosterone in a man. So the most important advice I could give you for this is lift some fucking weights, resistance train. Many guys in our community now, basically everyone our age now, is actually going to the gym. Can you imagine, like a few years ago, this was like a weird advice saying this to young guys, and they would, like, most guys weren't going to the gym a few years ago. Now everyone in self-improvement, of course, is, because you realize how important it is. This is absolutely crucial. You cannot feel like the alpha if you've got like a bitch physique. It will certainly help you. Symbols of health can be very important as well. For example, if you've got poor symptoms of health, if you're walking weird, if you've got like a broken knee, if you've got spots, that's going to indicate that you don't have as good genes. And so if you can have good health, if you can be vibrant, if you can have like bouncy, light feet as you walk and not fucked up joints, and you don't have spots and you've got clear skin, that's going to be a good indicator that you've got like some good genes. Along with that, strength. So for example, there's times when you're with a girl and you have to carry something, or you move her, you pull her into you, and she can feel like you're strong. And again, of course, that's going to symbolize good genes. Having dark stubble as well is seen as the most attractive facial hair that you can have. So there's been studies that have been shown that the 7-day stubble is the most attractive. They compared clean shaven, heavy stubble, which comes after about 7 to 14 days, and then like an actual beard. They compared multiple, right? This is how most guys on self-improvement, their beards look. And if I'm just honest, most guys that I see inside of Adonis Gang, Adonis School, in my work, I'm telling you right now, your facial hair is making you look less attractive, less like an alpha. Like if your facial hair looks kind of like this, where it's unkept, it's kind of disgusting. It's kind of like, like you feel like you look like a sort of a masculine guy, but it looks fairly ungroomed and quite dirty. It's actually knocking points off your attractiveness. Now, if you grow it out because it's your passion and whatever, cute, whatever, but I'll just show you some pictures of what I would say is like the ultimate attractiveness for attracting feminine girls is about a 7-day stubble. So let's see if we can find what I would tell you. Let's say this looks quite similar. Let's go maybe like that. So the study that I remember seeing compared it with being clean shaven, and that was lower attractiveness. It compared it with a beard, and that was lower attractiveness. And a 7-day stubble was the highest. I'm just trying to find like a picture that I would consider like maybe this one. Oh, here we go. Perfect. This is about as attractive as you can be. Look, this guy looks lean. You can tell this guy's a fucking Chad. You can just tell straight away, right? He's look at that jawline, look at that cheekbone. He's lean, and this is about as much as you want to have, where you've grown it out anywhere from like 7 to 21 days. So mine, I'd say, is too long right now, and I'm gonna go get mine trimmed soon so that you'll maximize attractiveness. And of course, you need to be fairly lean for this. But this is quite important. This is just a point I want to make to the guys here. Most guys that I currently speak to have facial hair that makes you look less attractive, and you can grow it out because it's kind of fun and I'm just seeing what happens, whatever. But if you do want to maximize your facial hair, I'd say at least don't have like the sort of self-improvement like men's bad beard, bad like facial hair. Oh, I say like teens, for example. Most teens try and grow it out, and like, yeah, it just looks fucking like just bad. Like this shit. Most guys will grow it out, and they just look fucking like really fucking bad. They like. So if you can only grow like this shit, I 100% think most young guys should just shave. If you can't grow like an attractive amount of facial hair, just shave it. Like I honestly think shaving is better than having like a shit beard. But if you can grow something like this picture, which you might want to go and screenshot or anything, because this is a really good fucking picture for the example. You can show this to your barber and everything, see how it's tapered, see how its jawline's lean. This with some like nice clean hair, that's a very easy looks maxing for the guys here. Sexually satisfied / abundance mindset. So this is a way to act like the alpha, is for you to always visualize the double blowjob. This is a phrase I'm going to keep using, and I want to make this like a norm inside of Adonis School. Bro, if you were getting 2 of your 10 out of 10s that also, let's just say magically didn't have any of these signs, remember the promiscuous video, if they didn't have any of these, you had 2, genuinely think about your 10 out of 10s right now. Like imagine like you would make them like tits and ass, right? You'd choose the hair color, everything. Imagine 2 of them right now, double blowjob fucking on you right now. How would you act towards the girl who's not messaging you back? Would you give a fuck? Would you honestly give a fuck? If you want to act like the alpha, you need to act, even if it's not true, like you are sexually satisfied and you have an abundance mindset. What is the opposite of this? It's sexually needy. It's agitated. It's like the average guy is so like needy and obsessed with sex that you can tell that he's not getting it. You need to always act and just pretend and basically fake it. Oh, that was the phrase I was going to say. Fake it till you make it before, right? Basically fake it that you are having a lot of sex. You don't want to be seen needy as that. If she's making you play games for it, if she's making you wait for it, all this shit, it's like you want to act like you are currently getting sex. So let's say, for example, there's so many examples I could give for this, man. Let's say, okay, a girl is not texting you back, and you're going to post saying, oh, guys, she didn't reply to me. Who cares? You've got double blowjob, right? You don't give a fuck about this one girl. You're about to have sex with a girl, and then she gives you last-minute resistance, which we'll talk more about in that last post there. She gives you last-minute resistance. The agitated beta male will actually be kind of scary and dangerous. Think about what would happen to a beta male who a girl's been flirting with him. They end up going back to like the hotel, the bedroom or something, and she at the last minute kind of decides she doesn't want to have sex. What would the beta male do? He'll be weird. He'd be needy. He'd be pushy. What would the alpha male do? He wouldn't give a fuck. Like obviously, primal alpha male probably would have just raped her. But let's say in the modern day, like the modern alpha who's not going to be stupid and hurt someone and get a court case and whatever. What would happen if, imagine like an absolute Chad who gets a lot of pussy, if a girl at the last minute says like, oh no, I'm not too sure, he'd be like, yeah, okay, sweet, fine, and he'd just go message a different girl and go sleep with another girl the same day. That makes you more attractive. You might like not realize this just yet if you don't have that much experience. The way to overcome last minute resistance is to basically act as if you're already like sexually satisfied. This is a huge point that I'm telling you right now, most of the young men just in our community, but just in general, really struggle with. You must always visualize the double blowjob and have this abundance mentality. Too many guys get so hooked over this one girl who's like not even that high quality, just because that's the only girl that's paid you attention so far. If you keep staying aware of red pill and you keep improving and getting more confident and you keep speaking to girls and getting rejected by girls, you're gonna get to this point where you don't like actually give a shit because you are genuinely like, you hold this abundance mindset. And that is so attractive because think about it, when you act like this, what does this do to the female brain? It makes her think, oh, he doesn't care that much about sex. He's not that needy. Why? Because he's probably having it with other girls already. That actually, I want to put actually, I'll put it, I'm getting so many fucking ideas for this course, bro. Every like day I keep adding more and more to it. This is the longest course. I'm just going to write this before I forget. I want to add another module for you right there. Yeah, this is awesome, man. So pre-selection, I'll just talk about very quickly and I'll make it as a full module. Pre-selection is when a girl can see you've got other girls. So for example, Iman Gaji does this really well with his Instagram. You can do this in person. You come in with your female friends, you come in with a girl you're on a date with, and another girl inside of that place sees you with her. Basically, the fastest way for a girl to decide to sleep with you is if she knows that other girls of quality, of beauty, have decided to sleep with you too. Women are just herd creatures. If they can see that other girls decided to sleep with you, will be undeniably more likely to sleep with you and to want you themselves. And so the alpha male has pre-selection. When you act like this, she's basically feeling this pre-selection. Okay, well, he's not that needy because he already gets it. So if he's already having sex with girls, maybe I should be having sex with him, right? The alpha male is also a valuable member of the tribe, or the highest status, the leader, basically. So level up with masculine men. Never forget that a huge part of your life is supposed to be with your masculine tribe, with the brothers. I actually was just in the gym today and I hit a workout with one of the PTs, like a young guy there that I'm friends with, and we hit a really nice workout. We did the Adonis protocol, hit a PR with it, awesome. Then we went for food and we spoke for like hours, and we went to the sauna, everything. And we were speaking about this concept of like having a friend who ends up getting into a relationship and then just kind of disappears and stop hanging out with his friends. This will happen to many of us in here. Eventually, by following advice like this, you'll actually get into a pretty good relationship, and you'll almost feel like you don't even need to be like close to your friends anymore. And that will mean that you lose this trait where you are like the sort of high status guy, because when you're next to your friends, and especially when you have leveled up to the point that you are like the high status guy, you're like the leader, you're the most powerful guy there, you're aware, you're the one who kind of chooses like, okay, when to do this thing, when to do this, let's get up, let's go down, let's go here, let's do this. Women find this irresistible, because what does it show? Well, it shows that technically you're the alpha male. You're the one who's like led the dynamic. And of course, you don't want to be next to your friends thinking, oh, I'm the alpha. I don't do that shit. But to be honest, you know what? 5 years ago, I did. So I'm not going to lie to you, even though it's cringe as fuck to like be thinking like, oh, I'm the alpha, I'm going to act like the alpha. I'm grateful that younger me actually did that, even though it sounds completely autistic, because I wouldn't be here today if I didn't. So there's just like, I felt like the need to give multiple disclaimers in this entire course, because people online think that it's so cringe if you call yourself the alpha male and stuff. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't. I would not have this success if I didn't. I would not have had this abundance when it comes to women if I didn't. I would not have been able to retire my family if I didn't start calling myself the alpha male. So you can say it's cringe, but it gave me the life that I have today. And I'm very glad that younger me was able to just kind of fuck it and just keep thinking, yeah, act like the alpha male. Show power and comfort, take up space, move furniture. So this is something that I do without really realizing it till my girl said this to me. Basically, when we go into a restaurant, I'll move like the table, the chairs, I'll move her chair next to mine and stuff. And what does this show? It shows that you've got power. It shows that you're comfortable with, for example, like changing something that's you're not supposed to really touch. So I'll walk into a restaurant and I'll grab one of the chairs and like move it to the other side of the table. I'll walk in and literally like pull the table closer toward the whole table, like closer towards me. Don't be autistic, don't fucking break stuff, but like this shows a high level of comfort and power wherever you go. What kind of man has comfort and power? Well, of course, the alpha male. This is probably a controversial one, but it's 100% true. Treat her as if she was born to serve you. This is how the alpha male really exists in the wild. He just extracts value from the women. It's like women extract value from beta men. The alpha extracts value from the women. Basically, he like uses women. So if you want to be more like this, treat your woman as if she was born or she is supposed to serve you. Religious men do this really well because the dynamic's already been set there, especially, again, Muslim men are very based. They do this very well. It's like your woman is supposed to serve you. Now, in the modern day, like women are not, because women want to go and live their independent lives and stuff, even if it causes misery. That's fine. Let them do that. But your woman, the woman who enters your life, you want to act as if like it's her duty to be not your servants, but like the first mate. Like you are the captain of the ship. She is your first mate, and she listens to everything you say. You set the direction, and she says, like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. I'll do my part. I was going to relate this to I was just going to say, all of this, what I'm saying, but particularly this bit, this depends on if you really want to be the masculine man, by the way. I just visualize like someone disagreeing with this course. But remember, this is if you want the stereotypical masculine patriarchal relationship with feminine submissive woman. If you don't want that, if you want like a friendship and equal relationship, by all means, like, take what you can and don't use the rest. But if you want like that sort of masculine feminine pure dynamic where you are both extremely opposites of each other, this is how you should be behaving. This is a lesson for me. Live your own life. Be the one she wants to tame. As soon as she tames you, she's lost lust. So basically, you've got to see yourself as like a wild animal, a wild lion. And a woman's desire is to always tame the wildest lion, like the strongest lion that they can find. A woman is happy spending her entire life trying to tame a man. Trying. The moment that she has tamed him, well, the desire doesn't go away. Basically, this is a huge red pill you need to understand right now. A woman, every single day, wants to tame a man. If you allow her to tame you, to change you, to weaken you, she still has the desire to tame a man, and you're already tamed. And so now she'll start to desire other men who symbolize like the sort of alpha traits that cannot be tamed. She wants to be with a man who gives her the belief that she can tame him, but she just never really gets to. So what do I mean by tame? It's like the girl wants to lock you down. She wants you to live a normal, safe life. You want to be like James Bond, and she wants you to sit at home and watch TV. She wants to tame you, to bring you into normality and stability, even through her chaotic feminine energy. Basically, she wants you to act like a chump. Like if you spend too much time with a woman, most women will condition you to be more of a chump, and you need to have the kind of abrasive, selfish energy where you don't allow that, where she believes she can tame you for the rest of her life, but she never actually does. Because the moment that she's tamed you and you went from being that wild bad boy alpha to that sort of like guy in a tucked in shirt next to her, just going for a date and stuff, and like, oh yeah, I remember my wild days, I'm too old for that now. She's going to be losing that sexual lust for you. So you, as the alpha, you always want to be like she's trying to change you, but you don't let it happen. A simple, like there could be so many examples I could give you. It's like you could have a motorbike when you meet and she's attracted to you and she thinks you're a bad boy and she's lusting after you and her pussy's wet when you want to fuck. And she'll constantly, once you guys get married, constantly be telling you like, oh, stop riding the motorbike, stop riding the motorbike. Truthfully, like, motorbikes are really dangerous and stuff. So she's got a good point, but undeniably, for some fucked up reason, if you listen to that, even though she's right, she will actually start to lose the lust for you. And I guarantee she'll be like significantly less wet for you when you listen to her, because the alpha doesn't listen. The alpha kind of like, listens to her yapping and it does what he's going to do anyway. Only the beta listens to the woman and changes his life because of like her mothering instinct. You don't want to ever reward her mothering instinct with your compliance. And so this can be like a crazy one, because she could be saying something that's actually true, but you should never change your mind to please your woman. Never. You should only ever like come to your own conclusions. She could say something that kind of inspires the insight into your mind. And then you sit down and you ask yourself, you know what, like I might actually stop riding motorbikes because one of my friends just got really hurt. I saw that news article of someone being brutally killed on one. I might actually do it. And if it comes from that place where, for example, she started the initial thought, but you actually like really realize, oh yeah, this is something I want to do, fair enough. Just be careful of that, because I know for a fact so many guys have basically thought that was the situation where it's like, oh yeah, I realized it was the problem, when really like they would have actually preferred being whatever, like, partying, being a degenerate, going on the motorbike, doing scary stuff, being in martial arts, whatever it is. Most guys would actually prefer to continue. There was a reason why you were doing it and you didn't expect to stop anytime soon. But she tells you like, oh, let's change your car to this type of car. Oh, let's not live there, let's live here. Oh, you shouldn't be like that, you should be like this. You shouldn't dress like that, you should dress like this. She's taming you one by one. Women want the wild, powerful lion. When she tames you, she files your claws. She chops off like the sharp parts of your teeth. And when she's done that and she's turned the lion from this ferocious beast into this harmless pussy, she can't resist the other lion who still has the claws and the teeth. And then you're left there without the ability to hunt anymore. So often guys will get into a relationship and then lose everything that was attractive about them because the girl one by one told them like, no, we should do this, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. And eventually when they do break up, the guy's just completely wondering like where the fuck his life went. He's kind of fat now, he's got shit hair, he's got shit clothing, realized just how much his woman changed him. Here's a list that I found on the internet as well. So, never discuss your feelings and emotions. Just don't. Holding her hand in silence or hugging her warmly is all she needs. Don't betray your inner emotional life to a woman's fickle ears. Now, you might be thinking, wait, I'm not going to do this. Remember, this is if you want to go extreme, like to the masculine side. So this doesn't mean that you should never talk about these things for the rest of your relationship. This is a bit more of an extreme one. But what I will say is, for the guys who feel too blue pill, too pussy, like not enough like primal alpha, this is what they should start adding in. Maybe you at some point want to be able to discuss stuff with your wife, at some point, right? But maybe for like a while, you kind of like follow this piece of advice. If you're feeling like she's not that lustful for you, remember, this is if you want to go full primal alpha mode, which many of us probably want to only be like 50%, right? But if you feel like right now you really need to top up like how like horny you can get girls for you, then this is something that you do. And I'm telling you right now, it fucking works. So you can disagree with it and say like, oh, it's not authentic and stuff, right? But I'm telling you it works. So you can choose to use this short term, for a little bit, or even for a long time. That's your choice. Don't talk about yourself. Don't psychoanalyze yourself out loud to her. Talk about the things you love and enjoy. Don't talk about yourself. She is not worthy of that. This is for a close male friend of yours. This is similar to the first point. Basically, don't analyze the sort of weak parts of yourself. You can talk about, things that are funny. You can talk about certain things, but you don't want to be constantly telling her everything about you, because this should basically be rephrased as like, stay mysterious. When she says, what are you going to do today? Don't fucking tell her your timetable, bro. Don't tell her like 7 p.m. I'm going to do this, 8 p.m. I'm going to do this. Make her guess. Make her, like literally reply to her like, oh yeah, I'm going to have a day like James Bond. And then just let her, like, it sounds silly, but just let her fucking, like laugh at it and stuff. And she's like, oh, go on, really tell me. Keep pushing it aside. When you show a girl like, oh, so here's my calendar. And then so Hamza said that, like Hamza said, like, just shut up, bro. Oh, Hamza said that, timetable. So I wake up at 5, but then, Huberman sunlight in the morning. You sound like a bitch, bro, honestly. Now, again, in a very serious relationship, eventually your woman's going to see it. And I'm telling you right now, that's one of the reasons why she'll lose some sexual attraction, because you need to stay mysterious. If she knows that you are like Billy fucking Beta and you live the same day every day, suddenly you're not the wild primal lion anymore. She needs to fantasize. She needs to feel like you might be cheating. She needs to feel like you actually go out there and you talk to women and you fight the bad guys. Like, she needs to fantasize about that. Girls will always fantasize highly when you haven't covered their knowledge gaps. So when you originally meet the girl, she's fantasizing about you and it's so sexy. But as soon as you fucking tell or show her every part of you, suddenly that fantasy's just been broken. And you know what the red pill part is? She can't help but to build up that fantasy for other men. And so then she starts to fantasize about what her boss is doing after work, because he answers in a short way, in a playful way. Whereas she knows exactly what you do because you fucking hang out with her 24/7 and you've got no mystery left in your relationship. She can't help but to like fantasize about what other guys are doing and thinking, whoa, like I bet they go on trips. I bet he's out flirting with a girl right now, and you don't she's not feeling this way for you. Occasionally be unexpectedly thoughtful. I fucking love this one. Give her a cupcake with your names on it. Pick her a flower. Tiny expressions like this, devoid of any verbal affection and followed immediately by a return to the relatively aloof and stoic frame, can pierce a woman's heart with an emotional snag that sparks a deeper kind of attraction and love. I'm telling you right now, the guy who wrote this fucks. I'm telling you, because I've done this stuff myself, and his wording is perfect. Basically, let's say you and your girl are driving or you're on a walk and you see a beautiful patch of flowers. Turn on the what's it called? The emergency lights in the car. Like I've got bad memories today, but basically you turn on the emergency lights on the car, get out of the car. If there's like people behind you, obviously don't crash. If it's like a silent road, go pick her a flower, give it to her, and don't even fucking say some gay shit. Just give it to her and keep driving. I guarantee she'll melt, bro. You don't have to say anything. She's going to think you are a fucking Chad, like Romeo, but with a fucking like alpha male cock instead. Basically, that's so attractive. And the way that this guy's written this, we wrote like devoid of any verbal affection. That's fucking exactly what I would have told you. Is like, do these unexpectedly thoughtful things. Like basically randomly pick her up like caveman mode and give her a big kiss and then put her back down. Don't even say anything afterwards. Randomly give her like a big hug, spank her randomly, and don't fucking say, I just wanted to spank you. Like, don't, oh, your ass feels really good. Like, don't fucking say anything. Just fucking keep your mouth shut. In fact, I just added an entire module for talk less. Just keep your mouth shut. Honestly, 90% of your problems with women, I'm telling you right now, is just because you talk too much. So this is powerful. And this as well, followed immediately by the return of the relatively aloof and stoic frame. So do something unexpectedly, like fast. Just randomly, you're going to pick her a flower. Randomly, you're going to pick her up and give her a big, big kiss. Randomly, you're going to push her against the wall and kiss her right there, like passionately. And then don't say anything gay next apart. Oh, I just really felt like kissing. Just fucking grab her hand, keep walking, just keep driving. She will melt right now. Be in charge of the goodbyes. And with this, I'd say on a micro level, you stop the kiss first. So when you go in to kiss her, when you go in to hug her, you pull away first. This is like, it's autistic and it's detailed, but I bet this will help a lot of people. Be in charge of the goodbyes. Initiate departures most of the time. Like, don't, like, I can imagine a young guy who doesn't really know these things. He'll go on a date with a girl and basically he'll be fine to stay out up until she wants to go back home. You should be the busy guy. The alpha should be busy. And so you want to basically say to her, like, oh, I need to go and do this. I need to do this. And you should genuinely be busy enough. This shouldn't be like even emotional, manipulative or anything, or, lies. You should genuinely have fucking shit to do. You should have a plan. You should, go and like live your day. That you need to say goodbye to her. Like, if let's say if you're in school and you're all like hanging out at the end of school and you're like spending time with her, you should be the guy who's like, okay, well, I've got my sports class thing, I've got my business work, I'm gonna go now. And that makes you more attractive rather than the beta who just stays around and kind of makes himself appear common. If she says she should be probably getting going, immediately comply with a smile. Always appear comfortable leaving. So when she says she needs to go, finish the date, or she needs to leave, be fine with it. Again, how would you act if you had the double blowjob right now? If you had the double blowjob and this date's kind of ending faster than you thought, and she says she needs to go, would you still be saying like, oh, you're going already? Like, you wouldn't give a shit, right? If you had the 2 10 out of 10s perfect and stuff. So be comfortable with leaving. Smile and then say, goodbye, whatever. Touch her. You are entitled to her body. This is a controversial one. Obviously, don't be rapey, but I really think this fucking works. It's your toy for you to play with and enjoy. Assume this right as early as possible, beginning with benign physical contact and quickly escalating. It's her responsibility to protect herself from unwanted physical affection, not yours to guess how much affection she is comfortable with. Her restricting your access is funny always. Acting butthurt about being rejected is tremendously unattractive. This sounds rapey as fuck. I'm telling you that this is some 10 out of 10 advice. The amount of guys who literally take the responsibility of like, thinking, wait, I don't want to push too hard, it's going to make her feel uncomfortable. I'm telling you right now, the guy who she deep throats pushed as hard as he wanted and she was fine with it. The guy, guess what guy she's having sex with? The guy who sexualized her, the guy who actually pushed to have sex with her. Whilst you're playing like nice guy and not wanting to push too hard, there's a guy who did, and she actually was fine and she ended up having sex with him. So you should be basically, like the way I saw this, which again might sound rapey, but I really think this is really fucking good advice. You should be putting on the game and, like flirting and escalating to the point that she has to kind of stop it. And when she stops it, you reel back, have a break, go drink some water, change the conversation. And then when it's time and, she's receptive again and she's making out with you, then kind of escalate it again. So escalation to sex looks something like this, where you build up to a certain level that she's comfortable with. And once you go past that, she'll start to like, reject you. She'll pull away. She'll move your hand or whatever. Then you go back down. You don't keep trying to push. You don't get butt hurt like many beta males will do. Beta male will get there and then he'll get butt hurt and he'll get upset that she's saying no and he'll take it seriously and say, why? What's this? What's happening or whatever? With a smile and no fucking discussion about it. You just push back down, chill here for a little bit, hang out, listen to music, drink water, whatever, fucking, like do something, and then randomly start making out again, start escalating and get more touchy. And then like basically her comfortability level goes up after every time that you do that. This was basically what I was going to say in the last minute resistance module there. You need to act like it's normal for you to touch her. You would be so surprised of how many guys can sit next to a girl and not even touch her because it just feels awkward. You need to have the kind of mindset where you are allowed and you are encouraged because she is basically yours. Now, technically, she's not, and she's a human being and whatever. Don't be too pushy. Don't be too rapey. Don't just fucking sit next to her and randomly start like grabbing her titties or something. But it's like play it by progressive overload. Sit next to her and randomly touch like something on a jumper. She's got a bit of dirt or something. Okay, take that off. Next, move her hair a little bit. Next, you brush her leg with your hand a little bit. Next, you even grab her hand next to yours, and that's like cute and intimate. Next, you guys like looking into each other's faces. You might go for a kiss. You put your hand on her cheek. You put her hand on even on her neck. You start making out. You put your hand as like choking on her. You start grabbing her legs, pull her into you. You start basically like dry like humping each other. You start moving your hand inside the inside leg. It's like you want to be progressing these things. Now, again, this can sound crazy, and I know for a fact if some like feminist was hearing this, they'd be thinking, wait, this is disgusting, this is rape, whatever. Now, again, the moment she tells you that she's not comfortable, or the moment you intuitively feel it, all you do is with a smile just kind of peel back a little bit. That's exactly what like a respectful man would do. So I'm actually teaching you the more important thing, because if we don't teach this, what's going to happen to the fucking Billy Beta blue pillar who gets into this situation and then she has last minute resistance? He's going to be rapey as fuck. It's so interesting that like this sounds rapey, even though we're stopping like weird rapes and shit from happening by teaching you this. But I'm literally teaching you, peel back, like don't fucking push too hard, because she'll start to think of you as like a little bitch who's not getting the message. The moment you intuitively get that gut feeling that she wants to kind of stop here, that she's not as receptive for you to push more sexually, then you stop and actually go down a little bit. Then you escalate a little bit with the things that she's fine with. You know, you can start making out again, and she's usually fine for like a higher level next time. Regularly, temporarily withdraw from initiating any physical affection. Find that you're touching her first a lot. Withdraw for 15 minutes to an hour. Don't refuse her touch, just abstain from initiating it. She may not notice this consciously, but subconsciously it can trigger a slightly oxytocin deficiency that will clue her into how much she needs you. This, again, sounds manipulative. It actually is. You know, this is all fucking manipulation. Congratulations. It's like, yeah, you can like say it's a bad thing. I think manipulation is completely fucking normal. When she wears a dress that hugs her physique, that's manipulation. When she wears gym clothes that shows her physique, that's manipulation. When she wears red lipstick, that's manipulation. When guys go to the gym, that's manipulation. So we're all manipulating each other. You may as well just get fucking good at it. Am I right? You don't have to. I understand if you don't want to like, I'll just be a chump Hamza, fine. But I'm telling you right now, everyone's fucking manipulating everyone. And so you may as well just do it consciously rather than everyone else is subconscious. You may as well just get good at the game, right? So this is a good one. If you're finding that like you're on her more, you can lay back and kind of relax. Like I remember being in the car with one of those like Tinder girls back in, the COVID days when I used to sleep with girls in the park. And I remember there'd be times when like, I'd be kissing them and stuff, but I'd feel like they weren't as receptive. So I would go into like what I would call like my laid back mood, where I'd kind of put my seat all the way back. I'd bring my hoodie up, and I'd just kind of like silently kind of close my eyes and like sing the song that was playing. And literally like a little kitten, they'll come and literally climb on you. I remember this one girl that when I used to do that, she'd literally undo a seatbelt and like climb on top of me on my seat, because it's like they're like kittens. When you try and chase a kitten, it runs away from you and scratches you. When you just sit still, the kitten will come up and start purring you and sticking its nose into you. And the moment you give it full attention, it start fucking running around and like scratching you again. You got to play with her like a kitten. You got to like just focus on your own thing, especially if there's a time when you're finding she isn't like reciprocating as much, and just kind of chill out for a bit. Don't be like a nerd and go on your phone. Don't call her out on it or something, but just kind of like, go into normal conversation, go kind of laid back. Don't give her the as much attention. It worked really well in that dynamic that I just spoke about, where basically we're in a car, it's nighttime, we're listening to music. When I feel like she isn't reciprocating as much, I'm leaning towards her too much, I just started to like go back, pull my chair back, and it kind of gave me a reason of like, yeah, it's late, I'm just kind of closing my eyes because I'm tired. And girls just fucking loved that, and to be climbing on top of me and everything. Sex should consist of her acting in submission to you. In bed, she is a ragdoll, a slave. Exercise complete dominion over your woman in bed. The only limits to your alpha expression in bed should be legal ones. Don't be an English farmer, be a Viking pillager. Brutal but true. When you're having sex with your girl, you really want it to be like an act of fucking domination, of like being a Viking, of a warrior who's going hard. You don't want it to be like mechanical boyfriend, girlfriend, or wife, husband who are just having a bit of like missionary sex. Even if you want to go like, you want to make some fucking masculine noises whilst you do that. You want it to feel like this is good advice I'm telling you right now. You want some good advice? Fuck her like you hate her. I'm telling you right now, fuck her like you hate her. Just fucking think of some annoying thing, whether she's done it or some other girl's done it. Fuck her like you hate her, like you genuinely hate her, and you will have some amazing sex up until the point that you start fucking her like you care about her. And that's when it'll all start to break down. Now, you can have like, loving sex and stuff, but a lot of like, spiritual loving sex is still very primal. There's a lot of pain involved. There's scratching, there's moaning, there's biting. If you care too much and you have this kind of soft approach with sex, you won't act like an animal. So even with those spiritual texts that I read, that you might have read, even then they say like you can add pain, you can squeeze her nipples, you can bite them, you can bite her back hard, you can bite her neck, you can pull her into you aggressively, you can pull her hair, and up until the point that her neck is craned upwards, and then you start choking her and stuff. You need to be okay with inflicting pain sexually, not in like some illegal way, not in some weird way, but this is something that you'll build up some intuition with. When you keep having sex with the same girl, you'll know like what level you can kind of take things to. What I would just say to you as a general rule, always be trying to push the level that you can kind of be with this girl. So if you're sat next to her on a first date, you want to be leveling it up by physical, touching her leg, touching her I don't know, her hair, her jumper or something. When you're already having sex with this girl, you want to take it like harder, and you want her to rein you in. Think about it. Which one would get a woman wetter? You're going too hard or too crazy, and she needs to rein you in and tell you to slow down. Or that you're going too soft dick and she needs to tell you to man up. Which one do you think is going to make her think you're more of the alpha male? Of course, the first one. Women actually don't mind, even though it sounds crazy, the guy that they need to rein in and tell him to like calm down sexually. They find that fucking hot. They find that so hot. What they find disgusting and dry is the guy that they need to basically have like fucking missionary, sex for a chore, basically, that the chump isn't going to satisfy her, but she's just doing it nice for him because he just like, he nuts in 2 minutes and he just kind of like goes in and out a little bit like a fucking little chump, and then he's done. That's it. And he makes some noises and he gets a little bit hard near the end. That's it. They would rather rein you down and slow you down than tell you to man up. This is the most important part. Trust me, this is true. Women will forgive you for being an asshole, but they won't ever forgive you for being a pussy. I'm telling you right now, a woman who thinks you're an asshole will still fuck you, and she will do like deprived shit with you. She'll go ass to mouth and everything. And even if she doesn't like even fucking like you, if she thinks you're an asshole, it's fine. But a woman who thinks that you're a pussy, that you're not man enough, that you're not primal alpha enough, she will never, ever, you will never redeem yourself. You will never get like primal sex with a girl that thinks you're a pussy. So she'll forgive you. If you go too much asshole, if you go too much alpha, she will forgive you. But if you go too much beta, you can basically never redeem yourself. It's very, very difficult. That's like a 10 out of 10 fucking mission to change her perception of you. And usually it's only done if you like disappear for a while and you come back, you went to a different school for a while or something. But that's a separate point. Just women will forgive you for being an asshole, but they won't ever forgive you for being a pussy. All of this alpha stuff sounds like you're being an asshole. It sounds manipulative. It sounds dark. It sounds like you're being like a bad person. I believe that's only because we've kept this dynamic that the guy who is like the alpha is a bad person. Because, for example, when you used to watch those Hollywood movies, remember like that dynamic there? The cute nerd who just cares so much about her, the beta male, would fantasize about her, obsess over her, and the alpha jock asshole would be the one getting her. And these Hollywood movies convinced us like, oh, like he's the bad guy for her. She was fucking him. She kept on going back to the fucking jock. In the end, everything works out and the beta male's main character ends up getting her. And that's basically what happens in real life as well. The alpha fucks her, enjoys her without like the price of it. And eventually the beta gets like what's left. gets the damaged version of her. And you need to decide which man you want to be. Like, hopefully you want to be like kind of both. You want to be the alpha asshole who's there, but also has like the sort of kindness and love. But when in doubt, go more into being an asshole than being a pussy. You know what's interesting about this last quote? You will forgive yourself for being an asshole, but you will never forgive yourself for being a pussy. Mark my, like, just, you know this, right? Look back to those times that you think about with relationships when you messed up. How many do you think of with regret of when you were a pussy, when you didn't tell the girl that you wanted her, when you could have just escalated a bit more, you could have been a bit more sexually forward, and you didn't, and you lost it. You could have been more of a fucking alpha asshole, and you didn't, and you still regret that missed opportunity. You will never forgive yourself. Like, it's so hard to forgive yourself when you've been a pussy. When you've been an asshole and, you were too much of an alpha with this girl and you weren't very caring, you can sometimes feel guilty, especially when you had a good girl. Like, I've had that in, like, university. I had some good girls who were into me and I was too much of an alpha next to them. I wasn't enough, like, of the loving, supportive kind. And the thing is, like, I forgave myself relatively quickly because you know what was interesting with those girls? I was fucking them. So even though I was, like, too much of an asshole, I was the one that they desperately wanted to fuck. They desperately wanted to fuck. So it's very easy to kind of forgive yourself and move on from the mistake that you've made when she's still coming around to your place with a wet pussy and like sucking your dick before she asks you to fuck her nicely. When you're a pussy, you don't even get the sex with the girl anyway. And so it's a lose-lose, like nobody wins. When you're an asshole, you get to fuck her and you'll just kind of sometimes feel guilty. You're like, oh, like you'll look back and you'll be like, oh man, I should have treated that girl better. She was actually quite high quality. I just like treated her like a piece of meat and she kind of enjoyed it. So fuck, man, what I will say to you in my advice with looking at all of these, you don't have to do all of them. Pick and choose which ones feel like kind of like a weapon or a special attack in a game. If me and you played the same game, we'd probably choose like different characters, wouldn't we? And we'd be using like our abilities differently. If me and you played the same game and we chose the same character, we'd still be choosing different combinations of special attacks and basic attacks, wouldn't we? So try and like pick between these like they are special attacks and see like which ones you really like to do, which ones feel good for you that you don't need to overthink about. So for example, you might think, you know what? For the next while, I need to do this because I've been talking to my girl, sharing all my problems about her. I've stopped being mysterious and I've just been like a pussy with her. So I need to like start using these as like the special attack that I'm leveling up. You should be choosing through all these and at least having a couple of them in your arsenal that you use very, very often to maintain this sort of alpha dynamic when you meet a girl or when you're already in a relationship. You don't have to do all of them. And if one of them or two of them or whatever like feel like way too negative, way too cold-hearted, don't use them. It's absolutely fine because, for example, you might think, no, I'll never use this one. But another guy is watching this right now thinking, actually, you know what? This might be exactly what I need. So it's not like we're all in the same kind of relationship, like a blanket statement. You need to prescribe whichever one is going to work more likely from you. And maybe you just need to try them. For me personally, if I had to tell you, of course I do this. I always do this, or I try my best to. I've started to visualize the double blowjob, but I try my best to do this. Sometimes you kind of forget. This I do naturally because of my work. This I do naturally just because it's the kind of guy I am. This I have to sometimes remind myself to do. This is the one that I really want to make my special attack. I want to ruthlessly live my own life and not get tamed by any woman. I want to just like live my life as if I'm like a solo man and just go and pursue my own goals as the priority. This, sometimes with like my girl, I'm too much. I discuss my feelings too much. I open up too much and I lose the mysteriousness. I want to make sure that I add these in. This is something I do, which I already like. So I don't feel like I need to increase this. This isn't the constraint. This isn't the constraint. This isn't the constraint for me. I very much feel entitled to like the woman who's next to me, very much. These aren't constraints and these aren't constraints for me. So I know like what my constraints are and I can start to work on that. You should be looking at all of these right now. Just spend like 30 seconds and think to yourself, okay, which one could I actually think I could do more often? Maybe I need to do this and start making more of the decisions based on me and not on her. Maybe I need to like do this because, I'm quite a bitch in like social situations, and you're visualizing it and thinking, you know what, that actually feel kind of powerful. I'm visualizing, school or work, a certain place, and you're thinking, damn, like I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm just going to grab a chair and go move it somewhere else, just as like a little bit of a power move, basically. Maybe you'll want to do this one more. I think many of us inside of Adonis School should mostly be focusing on this. In fact, yeah, let me look through them all and tell you in general, what I believe Adonis School members slash like just young men should be focused on. This is something that I feel like is 24/7 around the clock. Like you're kind of doing this already, and I don't think you need to focus more on this. I think this is an absolutely huge one for the young men here. You need to act like you've got more women already. This is okay. I don't think it's like as powerful. I've had times where I'm not like high status amongst other men. I don't even have other male friends, and I've still been attracting girls. So this is like a nice thing, but I'd say this is a non-negotiable that all of us inside of Adonis School should be doing. I'd say this is a nice thing, but it's not non-negotiable. This is a nice thing. I'd say this is a non-negotiable because when you attract the girl, if you start to like live a mixed life with her and she tames you and you change, then that will be the destruction of your relationship. So I'd say this is non-negotiable. This is non-negotiable. These ones can be nice. These are all nice. These are all nice. I'd say this is non-negotiable, this one here, for many of the guys here. I guarantee most of the guys who've been on dates in Adonis School, you go on a date like a little bitch, you sit next to her, you don't even touch her. Because if it would feel weird for you to extend your hand out and to touch her, you need to get normalized with basically touching, grabbing, pulling women into you and using intuition to, like look at her fucking face and see if she's liking it or not. You'll have this time where, for example, you'll be sat next to the girl on the park bench and she's looking forward, whereas you're looking at her. And you'll have to say something like, look me in the eyes. And suddenly there's pressure and she's like looking you and stuff. And, you guys get you pull her towards you a little bit. Come here. It's like these little things that like many young guys struggle with this. I wish if it wasn't cringe, I wish I could just record like a date and you would see like how I do this, just because it's like, it's cringe and it's uncomfortable. And, obviously it's like, it's kind of privacy, whatever. But I wish like you could see that because you'd see how I would, you see how I do it, especially if it was like, let's say a first date, for example. Obviously it's like, it's problematic, but like it would show you like how I would go about a first date, from going like sat opposite the girl to literally having her sat next to me with her legs over my legs, with my left hand like in between her fucking thigh right now, inches away from her pussy. It'd be good to be able to show you that. And this, I would say, is non-negotiable as well. When you start fucking her like you care about her, bro, the relationship fucking goes downhill, man. It sounds awful to say because you probably thought like, making love was like you two being proper like cute and stuff. I'm telling you right now, if you think some fucking demon thoughts about her and you just, use your fucking masculine aggression, your negative thoughts about women, about her, the bullshit she's done, even though that's toxic and whatever, guarantee it'll be the best sex you guys have had. Let's say if you're in a deep relationship, if you just go and do this, guarantee it'll be the best sex both of you have had for a while. Guarantee it. So they're the list. This is one of the most important modules that we've had in this entire thing. And I'm going to keep going through a bunch of different situations where you can keep on acting more like the alpha and using the red pill, like specifically in your dating life. So I promise you right now, a lot of the problems that you've had with women so far has been because you simply just spoke too much. The more that you talk, the more opportunities that there are that for you to say something autistic that unattracts her. So I'm telling you right now, like if I was single again, this is exactly how I would do things. Let's say I go on a first date with a girl, right? And I'm trying to assess if she's like wife quality, but at the same time, let's be honest, like I also want to have sex, right? I'm telling you, like easily, she's talking for about 80% of the date. I'm asking questions. I'm talking to her like this with a slow, deep voice. And so what do you do for fun around here? And she starts answering for 2 minutes straight. And she asks me what I do for fun. And I'll look into her eyes and I'll say, I live a life similar to James Bond. And she's looking at me like it's a bit cringe. And so I make it funny. I'm like, I wake up and I commute to work and I sit in traffic and I work my 9-to-5 job like a good boy. And she's like, she's laughing or some shit. And she's like, that's not what James Bond does or something. Then I'll ask her another question, which is a leading, like open question. I don't know, like, so where have you wanted to travel to? Some shit like this. Basically, she's talking way, way more than I am in the date. Like, this is for long relationships. This is for short term. This is for texting, everything. The reason why, because we need to just acknowledge this right now, and me too. You're autistic. I'm autistic. I'm telling you, right, like me and you could literally be in a conversation. It'd be funny. We'd be able to make inside jokes and stuff. When we're next to women, if you kept on talking, like, for example, if you had to just speak for 2 hours straight to a woman, you'd sound so autistic. So would I. Like, we're just fucking geeks, bro. It's just the case, right? So when you talk less, you just have less of a chance to just trip over your own dick, basically. It's like once a girl likes you, It's the game of just not messing things up. And there'll be times when a girl is attracted to you, and I guarantee us little self-improvement geeks end up messing it up, and we just talk too much and we say something that just kind of turns her off. So you want to try and talk as little as possible, because one, that makes you more mysterious, but two, quite frankly, it just saves you from fucking saying something stupid or autistic. So even in a good relationship, even long term, you want to be the guy who's asking more questions. Because again, think about it. This is a principle from How to Win Friends and Influence People. To get people to like you, you ask them more questions. So this is a win-win on all sides. It's a fundamental social skill. It also, means that she's spending more time qualifying herself. She's spending more time talking to you, giving you the sort of information of the kind of woman that she is. But three, most importantly, you just don't say anything stupid. I just wanted to make this a quick module. I didn't expect to say this in this course, but I thought, oh yeah, fuck, that's a part of like the red pill stuff that I learned back then. Just talk less. Guarantee those times that you have that sort of alpha dynamic with a woman, guarantee you are talking less. And when you do talk, you have these like short one-liners with a deep, slow voice, and it's just sexy as fuck compared to the fucking guy that's yapping on like a fucking podcast like a friend. Talk less. This is a law of power as well. Always say less than necessary. And let me just give you more examples of this. So let's say you're on a first date. You hug her, you bring her into the venue. It's a cafe, it's a bar, it's, you're going for a walk somewhere. You want her to be speaking most of the time. So you ask her fun questions, not boring questions, not how many siblings or whatever, unless you really genuinely want to know those things. When in doubt, by the way, just like the thing that you genuinely want to talk about that. If you want to genuinely ask her a question and you want to know something about her, okay, ask that, fair enough. But let's say you ask her a fun question of like, so what do you do for fun around here? She yaps on, talks and talks and talks. When she, most likely, if she's got decent social skills, she'll flip the question back to you and ask you the same question. Make your response shorter. Make your response, like, don't be autistic, but like make it about 50% as long as hers was. So again, don't be autistic, but let's say in texting, if she sends you a big paragraph, you send her one maybe half the size of that. Now again, don't be autistic. Don't be counting the words. Don't be like hopefully the point is you don't even think about this. You just kind of ingrain this in your mind. And when she sends a big paragraph, you write a paragraph or so as well. You write what you need to write. You don't purposefully really think to yourself like, oh, okay, I'm only going to limit myself to 4 sentences, so let's try and craft a sentence like that. But you just want this to be something that becomes natural, where you feel like you've got to put less effort than she does. You don't want this to feel like an autistic tactic that you're doing to stop yourself from saying something stupid. You want this to feel like you just like her less than she likes you, and so you're putting in less effort than she is. That's the more attractive dynamic, even though it sounds bad. Girls are more attracted, like in this red pill sense, to the guy who puts in less effort into the relationship, because it shows that he most likely has more of an abundance and that he's like basically higher value than she is. Because the guy who puts in a lot of effort into the relationship is showing that they are off equal, or she is even off greater value than he is. The guy who just kind of casually talks to her and has got low effort towards to see her or to, like be with her, she's thinking, oh, fuck, that guy's actually far above me, because if he was on my level or if I was above him, he'd be acting with like, way more energy and effort. So you could reply back with shorter text, with shorter voice notes if you're using them. Let's say you're in a relationship and she's coming over today and you're going to go spend like 1 or 2 days together. She comes in and she's like, hi, this just happened with this guy and this happens. And again, you ask her questions. She's come in and she spoke for 45 seconds straight. And you ask her, oh, so what did you do after that? And then she speaks for another 45 seconds. Then you start undressing her and stuff, and you start having sex, and you're spending time with her. You go into a date and she's asking, so my mom just said this thing, and and you just ask another leading question of like, oh, so what happened with this? What happened with this? How did that go? What do you feel about that? Just asking her these simple questions. When she's a good conversation partner, she'll be asking you similar questions back. And you just keep your answers fairly short. You can literally, a girl can ask you a question. I'm giving you permission to do this. A girl can ask you a question. It's okay for you to literally look into her eyes and not say anything for like 5 seconds. Honestly, sometimes I won't say anything for 10 seconds because I genuinely can't think of anything not autistic to say. So sometimes a girl will ask me a question and I'll just kind of like look at her, or I'll look away for a bit and be like, and I'll just kind of like say the question back to myself. So she'll say like, And what do you like to do for fun? And if I can't think of anything cool, I'll literally just stop and I'll look off and say like, what do I do for fun? I'm a cult leader. And I'll just look at, and I won't say anything else. And imagine saying that on a first date, and she's gonna think you're weird, but like in a kind of an attractive way, where she's like, "Wait, what?" Imagine if I just said to her like, "So I wake up and then yeah, after work I play some video games. Do you want to play video games?" It's like it's fucking cringe, right? When you slow down and you talk less and you think more, great things happen in your dynamic with women. When in doubt, just sit still for a bit and don't even say anything. Like, just be okay with silence. This is a huge lesson that I think our students need to learn here, not just with women, but just in all human communication. I'll go onto a call with our guys, on a live call, and I'll bring someone on stage. And if I'm honest, I don't really like bringing our students on stage with me, where on Zoom, like, our students can talk. The reason why is because most young men are just terrible at talking. They just fucking keep talking. They keep talking. I don't even get the time to be able to give them some advice because they just keep fucking talking. You know why? Because they can't risk silence. They can't end their sentence because they know that there's going to be a moment of silence. So they trail from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. They talk like bitches. They literally talk like women. They talk fully like feminine women, just fucking gossiping from this point to this point to this point to this point. So I noticed this myself. This is why I made this an entire module. Just stop talking like a woman. Talk with seriousness, with one direction. Like, talk with like one point at a time and make one point clear. Not just with women. In our Adonis School live calls, in your conversations with teachers, with friends, say one point at a time and then stop talking, and you'd be so surprised that all that extra information that you used to give wasn't even necessary. I'm telling you, for most of your time with women, like let's say the early stages, you often don't even need to say one sentence, like more than one sentence. So you can say one sentence, literally one line. Like, imagine it was a text, it was one line, and she'll say a paragraph, you say one line. That's the kind of attractive dynamic. That's the kind of dynamic that if you had this with a girl on the first date and someone transcribed it, so it was like transcribed, like her, and it's a big paragraph, then it's like one sentence, then her, a big paragraph. If that looked like the transcription of your first date, I would know that you piped that date. I'm just telling you right now, I would know that you fucked that date, or you were very close to, and you will, like on the second date, for example. Again, you don't need to be degenerate with this, but you want to use this for whatever your goal is. Just talk less, man. Just fucking stop yapping on our calls as well. But this is just a personal agenda on our calls. If I bring you up on stage, just stop. Like, say a point and then just stop. It's fine. I want to shake young men, especially, the sort of lower status, skinny young guys. I want to shake them and just say, like, bro, just make one point and then just stop talking. It's fine. Like, there'll be silence for a moment as I think. It's fine. What happened to you that you can't let there be a bit of silence in a conversation? I'll do it right now. Why does that feel awkward for some guys? If that felt awkward for you just then, guarantee you're not getting pussy. Guarantee you're seen as more of a beta male. We need to fix that. This is some deep, weird shit. Who knows what it's from? It's like your parents kept on interrupting you when you were talking. Maybe your brother did. Maybe kids in school did. It's some weird shit that you've got going on. Learn to speak to women and men with one sentence, two sentences at a time. Now, certain times you can speak way more. So, for example, in the transcription of your first date with a girl, it could be you asking literally 5-word question, then a whole paragraph from her. Then she asks you the question and you literally reply with like one short sentence. Then she starts speaking, then you reply with the one short sentence. But it could get to the point where there's a massive paragraph from you because you're telling an engaging story and you consciously chose to speak more. So I'm quite like short-worded unless I've consciously chosen to speak more and to be like, to tell a story or to rant about a particular point. And that's when I'll speak faster and I'll go in and I'll literally speak without stopping to make a point, to make everyone laugh. I'm making myself laugh. It's awesome. I'm telling a story from start to finish. This is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. Boom, boom, boom. Then I stop again. And someone will ask me a question and I'll literally answer in like 1 word, or I'll answer in like 5 words or 10 words. And you get that sexy amount of you back. So you've got that high energy, authentic, here I am, I'm talking about something hype. And then back to like James Bond primal shit of like, you're staring into her eyes and you're just not spilling all of your mystery out on the table. don't step on your own dick. There's times, I promise you in the future, that there's a girl who's willing to sleep with you and you're about to progress the relationship so much forward, and you just, for some reason, couldn't keep your mouth shut, and you say something stupid and unattractive and autistic, and suddenly her like primal subconscious brain clicks and she doesn't actually want to be with you anymore. You probably have been through something like that yourself at least once, where things were going so right, then you sent a text to a girl and she just stopped replying completely. If on that moment when you sent that text and the girl stopped replying, imagine if on that moment you never sent that text. Just for 24 hours, you didn't even reply back to her. Imagine, like, you'd feel like more of this powerful abundance moment, and she might even double text you. Like, I often have, I'm used to having girls who double or triple text me because I talk less, I text less. I'll go on my phone maybe 3-4 times a day, and so usually there'll be a message from a girl, and then literally an hour later, there'll be another message. Or I'll I'll go on my phone and I'll click on a message to read it and I won't reply for a while. And she'll send another message. She'll literally just send another one after that. And it's like she's doing all of the talking, which means that I can lay back and make sure that my autistic side doesn't come across. This isn't even me being an alpha male. This is just knowing that I'm retarded. I'll say some stupid shit that's just unattractive. It's funny for me, but now I'm not going to get pussy. So it's like, I'll keep my mouth fucking shut. And you should too. When you're ready, let's start talking about shit tests in the next module.